37. Call the roll. If we can call the roll, please.
Councilmember Antonio?
Here.
Councilmember Sandoval?
Here.
Chair Rocha he's running a little late.
All right, if we can start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Osorio. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, at this time we'll open up for public comments. Public comments are generally limited to 2 minutes per speaker. The chair may further limit the time for public comments depending on the agenda schedule. Do we have any public comments? All right, do we have any public comments via Zoom? No? All right, we'll go ahead and go to the consent calendar. If there's not any changes, can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, at this time, we'll move on to ID 24-099, Draft 2023 General Plan Annual Progress Report. Welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, committee members. My name is Grant Leonard. I'm your Advanced Planning Project and Project Implementation Manager, and I'm here to present our annual action or annual progress report for the general plan. It is required by the state of California so that cities can track the implementation of their general plan year to year, and it is due to be submitted to the state by April 1st. So I have a brief presentation. The full draft report is included as attachment. It's about 15 pages of bullet points of accomplishments. But what we'll go over today is the update on the engagement for our general plan update, Vision 2040, a few highlights of the accomplishments, and then the general plan update timeline. So last year was a very big year in terms of public outreach for our general plan update. You'll see photos there, each from different individual events. We had 6 workshops for public safety, housing, and transportation. Our general plan steering committee met 8 times to go over goals, policies, and actions that will be written into the general plan. We had 11 different pop-ups throughout the city, 2 community-wide surveys for climate action plan and public safety. And we partnered with a nonprofit Community Center for Advocacy to do tailored outreach to the farm worker community. And in total, we reached out to over 1,500 members of the community, and we're really thankful that they took the time to volunteer their opinions and their input to us, because that is going directly into how we draft the general plan chapters that we're writing right now. So we couldn't have done it without our partners in the community. In terms of highlights, this covers every section of the general plan, from transportation to design to parks and recreation. The housing element does have a separate annual progress report, which will be presented later today. But here you see some of the pedestrian improvements that were done on Sanborn. Our Library Community Services Department completed design selection for the new Hebron Family Center. Community Development partnered with Caltrans to install new artwork on the underpasses as an entryway to the LSL. We started multiple planning efforts for the active transportation plan, for our LSL streetscape master plan, and our district identity plan for the LSL. And the city completed playground renovations as well. Also completed in terms of major infrastructure projects, the Barton Road roundabouts were finalized last year. $4.6 million in sidewalk repairs were completed. Our Economic Development Department partnered with small businesses on technology and promotion grants. We had walking school buses to promote school safety and pedestrian safety. And the Cesar Chavez park improvements were initiated and completed. So in terms of our overall timeline for the general plan, we do aim to have City Council adopt by the end of this year. So we're in the middle of writing the general plan now, with the goal of releasing a draft in June, and then have a environmental impact report released in August, and do public outreach through the summer. and into the fall, and then go through the approval process, Planning Commission, City Council, and then we'll move on to the zoning code update after that. But this year is really the culmination of a multi-year effort for the general plan update. So the motion today would just be to support City Council accepting the general plan annual progress report and authorizing us to submit it to the state of California.
Councilmember, any questions?
I don't have any questions. I only have, or you know what, actually I do have a question. I know that on the timeline it said that the completion was going to be City Council General Plan adoption December. Is there any way that that can be, is there any way that that can be maybe like the end of November?
Yeah, we'll see how the timeline goes. We want to ensure we have enough public engagement, and also that we brief the council as we go along. So we're having study sessions starting next month.
Okay.
So instead of reviewing the whole general plan all at once, you'll kind of get it piece by piece.
And then maybe this would be the other question that I ask. I mean, even if it were to come to adoption, I know that for sure I'll be here in the month of November. But I don't know if I'll be here in the month of December. So I say that because I know that all of the public engagement and maybe any of the directions or the direction of the makeup of this council, and that's the only reason I ask. But I mean, if it's in December, that's totally fine as well. I know it takes a council majority to be able to get this adopted.
Yeah, this is an estimated schedule.
Okay.
So if everything goes well, maybe we can pick up some time if we don't get any curveballs and any delays. But we'll see. This is what we're working with now, at least.
Okay, and I know that maybe that I was just being full disclosure, right? If there's a way that if it would be towards the tail end of November, that would probably work as well. So, okay, that was the only question I had.
All right, I don't have any questions. Any public comment? Anything via Zoom? No. All right. At this time, we'll, any final comments, Councilmember Sanders? I almost called you my name, huh? I guess that's what happens when you sit in this seat. No, I don't have any comments other than I think, this shows a historic shift to the way we do community engagement. I'm so excited to see so many different things happening in the city of Salinas. And with that, we'll open up for a motion.
Okay, so approved minutes. So motion to approve?
All right. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes. This time we'll move on to our next item. ID 24-106, General Plan Amendment. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Chairperson Rocha, committee members. General Plan Amendment 2023-01 is concerns also the rezone 2023-01, conditional use permit 2023-22-059, re-subdivision 2022-06, and the minor modification to conditional use permit 1977-031, which is MM 2022-019. Request to construct a 36-unit, 100% affordable housing project located at 98 Kip Drive. The applicant for the site is Chispa Incorporated. It's owned by Rector, Warden, and Vestryman of St. George's Parish. The site is currently zoned public and semi-public. The applicant is requesting approval of the following applications, which are General Plan Amendment 2023-01, the rezone, conditional use permit, a re-subdivision, and a minor modification of the conditional use permit. The surrounding uses are residential and public school, primarily the North Salinas High School is located adjacent to the west. The general plan amendment proposed is to subdivide a portion, redesignate a portion of the existing 2.3 acre lot, 0.85 acres, from public semi-public to residential high density. This would allow for greater residential density as proposed by the applicant. It is consistent with the general plan designation of the residential high density of the property to the south, which is residential high density. The subject property is not located within a specific plan or precise plan area. The general plan designation of the adjacent 1.45 acre parcel will remain PS, public, semi-public. The related rezone, 2023-01, would rezone the same 0.85 acres from public, semi-public to residential high density, 2.1. It would allow for the increased residential density because in the current PS density, public, semi-public, it's the maximum allowed of residential medium, which is 2.9, or M2.9, which is one unit for every 2,900 square feet of lot area. RH 2.1 increases that to from 1 unit for every 2,100 square feet of lot area. It's also consistent with the zoning designation of the property located to the south, which is at 90 Kip Drive. It's also not located, as stated earlier, not located within a specific plan or precise land area, and the zoning designation of the adjacent 1.5 acres site or parcel would remain the same at PS. The conditional use permit is for the actual 36-unit multifamily residential senior affordable housing project. Will be 100% affordable senior housing. 36 one-bedroom units with, there will be 1 manager unit. It's 3 stories at 36 feet in height. There will be a proposed 31 off-street parking spaces. There is a request for a 5-space, 14% parking reduction, and requests include for concessions for reusable open space, density and off-street parking. There is also requested alternative means of compliance for landscaping located along the eastern property line. It does require the related general plan amendment and rezone to allow for the proposed density of the use. The site also includes, this is shows this is the layout. This is East Alvin Drive, Kip Drive. This is the northwest, east, and south. And the area will be primarily oriented north to south. It will be the orientation of the project. This shows the design of the building. It has some articulation, 36 feet in height, this is stated. And also this shows the floor plan, first floor, second floor, and third floor of the proposed project. The proposed concessions includes a requested 100% density bonus, which does require the conditional use permit as per the zoning code for the affordable senior housing. It is the proposed density is within the maximum allowed of the RH 2.1. The project is proposing 4,900 square feet of usable open spaces, around about, I believe, around 3,100 of common and about 1,800 of private usable open space. They are proposing 31 parking spaces, the 36 parking spaces required, which would be a 5-space, 14% parking reduction. The justification for that is that the applicant stated that similar senior projects range from the parking demand for senior housing projects, senior housing projects is 35% to 52% per unit, which would be for this project, which would be 36 units, around 18 parking spaces, which is well within the 31 that they're proposing. It's also covered by Assembly Bill 2097, which is that any proposed project, especially residential, that's within 1.5 miles of a high density transit corridor doesn't require parking. This is within actually a couple hundred feet from a main MST line, which runs along East Alvin Drive. The concessions also for both the usable open space and off-street parking allow for residential unit area, and which results in identifiable and actual cost reductions, which would allow for affordable rents. And that the parking reduction concessions also comply with zoning code section 37-50.370 for parking reductions. The site also includes an affordable housing plan for the 35 units, 3 very low and 32 low income units for a minimum 55 years. The 36 unit is the manager unit. The re-subdivision is for a parcel map to subdivide the property into the 2 parcels, 1.45, which contain the existing religious assembly use, and 0.85 acres, which would be for the proposed residential development, senior housing residential development. and that they are consistent with the standards for the RH 2.1 would be parcel B, and also parcel A would be consistent as well with the zoning code requirements for the public, semi-public requirements. The minor modification is required to remove the terms and conditions of conditional use permit 1977-031, which allowed for the religious assembly use to be removed from the parcel 2 or parcel B on the map, but they would remain in full force and effect for parcel A. Or parcel 1, I should say. The initial study and mitigated neg deck was done for the facility. It was brought to responsible agencies on January 1st, 2024. And for review on January 10th, and posted at the county clerk's office on January the 11th, the mitigated negative declaration with deadlines for comments. Staff has received comments from Monterey Salinas Transit and from the Monterey Bay Area Resources District, and has responded to both those as per the staff report. The recommendation, the Planning Commission recommended approval on February the 21st, 2024. And recommend that the Housing Land Use Committee recommend that the City Council adopt the proposed mitigated negative declaration and mitigation monitoring and reporting program, approve General Plan Amendment 2023-01, approve the rezone 2023-01, approve Conditional Use Permit 2022-059, approve re-subdivision 2022-06, and approve the minor modification to Conditional Use Permit 1977-031, minor modification 2022-019. Is there any questions to staff at this time?
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you, committee, for your patience with me as I was working through a scheduling issue. We're going to open it up for questions of the committee on this item, starting with Committee Member Sandoval. Committee Member Osornio.
Yes. Has there been any comments as far as when, if this is approved, what the next steps are? I know that even like building materials has been very challenging for a couple of the builders. Is it something that there's a timeline about if this gets passed, when construction may start for the project?
Well, excuse me. Once it's approved, the conditional use permit has a 1-year time frame of starting construction, obtaining the building permit. And so from what I understand with the applicant, they are ready to construct if the project is approved. Okay,
thank you for that. And then as far as just the neighborhoods, has there been, if there hasn't been, I guess just figuring out what the process is with neighborhood engagement as far as being able to get them information to be part of the process as far as this coming to the neighborhood. So has that happened already where neighbors have maybe been able to weigh in or be notified? And if not, do you anticipate knowing when that might happen?
Well, there was public noticing for the negative declaration back in January, and also we've sent a public hearing notice. This is scheduled for City Council consideration on March the 12th. So we have notified all property owners within 300 feet, as well as interested parties. We did have a couple of individuals, neighbors, come to the Planning Commission meeting. They had some concerns with parking. We were able to address those, and also the applicant, who's also here, can also state of any further correspondence that they've had with the neighbors.
Okay. No further questions, Chair.
Thank you. I have a question just for clarification. The modification to the conditional use permit is about one parcel's CUP that essentially identified it as a religious use. That's what that modification means?
Yeah, what the modification does is, back in 1977, this whole site was approved as a religious assembly. What the minor mod does is it removes the terms and conditions of the religious assembly on this parcel here, but it remains it though on this one, because this is still going to continue to be a religious assembly use. So it just removes the requirements of the former CUP and requires the terms and conditions of the new CUP, which would be for the senior housing project.
Understood. That was my only question. We're going to go out for public comment in the council chambers first. Seeing none, we're going to go out to Zoom, and I believe we have hand raised by Jill Allen. Before we go to Jill, I'm going to ask if our clerk of the committee has a timer ready for public comment. Okay, and we'll do it for 3 minutes for public comment, and let me know when you're ready. Okay, so we'll go ahead and unmute Jill Allen. Jill, if you could unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'm sorry, the only reason I have my hand up is because your audio has been disconnected for quite a long time, and those of us that are Zooming in are missing a lot of the discussion.
Thank you for adding that. Could you hear us then, Jill? Oh, she's muted now. But I don't know if we have.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and, unless there's any other public comment on Zoom, we're going to close public comment on Zoom and come back to the committee for final comments and direction, starting with Committee Member Sandoval. No comments. Committee Member Osornio?
Yes, I just wanted to commend, staff and also the developer, because this is in District 4, right next to North Salinas High, and there's been tons of times where I drive by there and I see the big empty lot, and I've always told myself, man, that would be great if there'd be some housing built there, and so this is great, and especially for our senior housing, our senior folks, be able to get some housing. I am looking forward to seeing how I can help out and being able to get the message out there. So I know that there's somebody in the audience from Chispa here today, so just available if there's any opportunity to be able to meet with community members and things like that. So just count me as a supporter of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm very excited for this project. Happy to support this item. When I was first elected to City Council, Alfred Diaz-Infante, the then CEO of Chispa, thought that this was my district. It's close to my district. And so he called me to share the idea that he had of collaborating with the church on this item. So it's really nice to see where it's come all this time. And so really excited to see it move forward. Senior housing is a huge need in our community, especially senior affordable housing. So very excited to support this item. And whatever you need, I'm here to support. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and call for a roll call vote on, actually, we need a motion to
approve.
Second?
It's been properly moved and seconded. We'll call for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Osornio?
Yes.
Councilmember Sandoval?
Yes.
Chair Rocha?
Yes, it's unanimously approved. Thank you very much. We'll move on to our next item, which is ID 24-111, Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program Round 4 application. Presentation by Jackie Smith, our Homeless Services Manager. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, committee members. So my name is Jackie Smith, and I'm the Homeless Service Manager for the Community Development Department, and it's an honor to stand before you today to present the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program Round 4 application, also known as HAPE 4. So let me try to work this out just a moment. Uh-oh. What'd I do? This is my first presentation. I apologize. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so going into the discussion, in December 2021, California Homeless and Coordinating Finance Council, they had initiated $1 billion grant program for regional homeless coordination. And then the California 506 COC, they received roughly $3.2 million for immediate homeless challenge under HAPE 4. And then the coalition designated as an administrative entity for the COC HAPE process, they had allocated to date $944,000 of HAPE funds. And then on February the 9th, 2024, the coalition released a request for local proposals, continuing efforts to address homelessness. And so what they wanted to do was allocate the rest of the remaining funds from the initial $3.2 million. And so this HAPE 4 program, it enables the city to sustain the emergency motel program, which offers interim housing and supportive services for homeless families, fostering affordable, permanent housing solutions. And so just a little bit about the background of the application. So the application itself is due March the 27th, 2024, and $2.2 million is available for the grant. And so the city request is going to be $540,000, and it's going to be for 2 activities. The first activity is $240,000 for rapid rehousing and $300,000 for interim sheltering, which is the emergency motel program operating costs. And so a little bit about the timeline of the application process. So the RFLP was released on February the 9th, 2024. And then the mandatory bidders conference, which we attended, was held on February the 15th, 2024. And then the letters of intent was due on February the 22nd, 2024, which we submitted our intent to apply for this. And then the application itself is due on March the 27th, 2024. And then the application review period will be held from March the 30th, 2024 through April the 11th, 2024. And then the finding recommendations will be released on April the 12th, 2024, and then the appeals for those that did not receive an award, they'll be able to appeal it, and that will be held on April the 16th, 2024, and then the appeals committee, if needed, they will make a decision about, what's going to happen with those appeals on April the 17th, 2024. And then after that's all said and done, the Leadership Council is going to vote on the funding recommendations on April the 24th, 2024, and then the projects are going to be notified of awards on April the 25th, 2024. So, our recommendation, so it is recommended that the Housing and Land Use Committee support the approval of a City Council resolution authorizing the submission of an application for the Coalition of Homeless Service Providers for the Homeless Housing Assistance and Prevention Program, Round 4, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute all applicable agreements, grant documents, and necessary amendments. So that is the end of my presentation. So do you have any questions?
Thank you so much. We're going to move on to questions from the committee, starting with Committee Member Sandoval.
No questions, just comments.
Committee Member Osornio?
No questions, just comments.
I have no questions myself, so we'll go out for public comment on this item. Public comment is now open in the council chambers. Seeing none, we'll go out to Zoom. No hands raised on Zoom, so we're going to close public comment. We're going to bring it back to the committee for final comments and direction. Committee Member Sandoval.
Well, you did a great job for your first presentation.
Oh, thank you
Yes.
so much, committee member. I appreciate that. I'll accept that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the best way we can serve our residents by going after these grants, right? I mean, we just need more money to serve our residents, so I appreciate that. And with that, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved by Committee Member Sandoval, seconded by Committee Member Osornio. We'll go on to comments from Committee Member Osornio.
Yeah, well, again, like Councilmember Sandoval said, welcome, and you did great for your presentation. It's been nice to work with you in Chinatown over at CSUMB in the past, but great presentation, and I'm just happy to support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you as well for your presentation and all of your work in this area. This is not your first area of working on, so really excited that you'll be able to be with us for the City of Salinas and see all the amazing work you'll do here. So thank you.
Thank you.
We've gone out for public comment on this item. It's been properly moved and seconded, so go out for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Osornio.
Yes.
Councilmember Sandoval.
Yes.
Chair Rocha.
Yes, it's unanimously approved. We'll move on to our Pro Housing Incentive Pilot Program Round 2 application. This is a presentation by Luis Ochoa, our Senior Community Development Analyst.
Good afternoon, City Council members. My name is Luis Ochoa, and so today I will be presenting regarding the Pro Housing Incentive Pilot Program, a Round 2 application that we're hoping to, submit to HCD. So just to keep it short and brief, the NOFA for this Round 2 application was released on January 23rd, 2024, which you can see it was rather recent. For the PEEP Round 2, this is the funding source for jurisdictions that have received a Pro Housing designation, which we are one of those cities in California that have this designation. We were one of the first 8, but as you'll see a little further in my presentation, that group or that pool has increased. And so one of the things that we did wanted to mention is that for the available funds under Round 2 application, it is going to be given to new applicants as well as those previous applicants that did not receive a full PEEP program funds. So for the City of Salinas, we're not a new applicant, but we are in that second pool of that we did not receive our full PEEP program funds allocation. So there's a chance we may be able to get some funds. But when it comes to the background, the application is going to be due in March 15, 2024. For these Round 2 application, there is a total of $9.5 million available. So when it comes to the city, we could potentially be able to receive an award of $1,250,000. And as you can see from everyone that is now being designated, the last time we were here to talk about this application, we were one of 8. Now we are one of 37 applicants. So it's going to be more competitive. But what we are hoping to do with, if we do receive an allocation, the city is proposing to allocate PEEP Round 2 activities for 2 activities. So $750,000 are going to go towards an affordable housing program, which is simply going to be for gap financing for affordable housing projects. And then the other $500,000 is going to go towards assisting persons who are experiencing or at risk of homelessness. So for the recommendation, it is recommended that the Housing and Land Use Committee supports the approval of a City Council resolution approving the submission of a Pro Housing Incentive Pilot Program Round 2 application to the California Department of Housing and Community Development. And with that, I complete my presentation and open for any questions or comments.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and start off with Councilmember Osornio.
No questions.
No questions on my end, so we'll go out for public comment on this item. Seeing none in the chambers, we'll go out to Zoom.
No comments via Zoom.
No comments on Zoom. We'll come back for direction and final comments. Councilmember Osornio.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the presentation. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second your motion. Thank you for your presentation. Very excited for this program, and it's always a great source of pride for me to be able to say that we were one of the first cities to receive the Pro Housing incentive in the state of California, and hopefully we'll be lucky enough to receive the second round of funding as well. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and call for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Osornio.
Yes.
Chair Rocha.
Yes. We're going to go ahead and consider it adopted, and we'll move on to the next item, which is the 2023 Housing Element Annual Progress Report.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christina Gonzalez, and I will be giving you a brief overview of our 2023 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. It is going to be due April 1st to the state, and we'll be looking at our regional housing need allocation progress, which, as you can see, it is broken down by income category, which we have very low, low, moderate, and then above moderate. So for 2023, as you can see, for very low, we did have 4 units that were created, 2 for low. Unfortunately, we did not have any moderate. However, this is a common issue within the state of California, so don't freak out about that number. But as far as above moderate, we did do 241 units, which give us a total of 247 for 2023. And then at the end, you can see how many total remaining units we did not complete or were not developed within the city. But overall, we did achieve 68% of our RHNA number. For 2023 housing production summary, I did want to focus on Sunrose, the completion of a 11-unit affordable housing project. And then also, actually skipped to the next slide, but let me go. Okay, sorry about that. So this is a brief breakdown of what was actually, how many permits were issued, how many were approved, and how many certificate of occupancies were issued. So as far as applications that were submitted for projects, we had a total of 8, which would create a total of 45 units. As far as building permits that were issued, 202 were issued for 2023. And then 247 were actually finalized. So that includes any permits that were issued previous years that were finalized within 2023. And then we have our certificate of occupancies that were issued, which is 108, and then a total of 224 units that were approved. So we do have affordable housing projects that were completed, which is one was Sunrose Apartments, which is an 11-unit affordable housing project, which was completed back in September of last year. And then also we completed a funding agreement with the county and Eden Housing for the development of 132-unit, 100% affordable project located at 855 East Laurel. And then we allocated $500,000 of ARPA funds to be used for pre-development cost. And then I do want to give you a brief overview of all the housing projects in the pipeline. So a total of 9 projects that are currently either in entitlement, have been approved, or are barely being submitted and considered through housing. So hopefully within the next couple of years, that will produce over 3,291 units, ranging from very low to above moderate. And so hopefully that will get us one step closer to reaching our new RHNA numbers for 2023 to 2031. And then as far as available funding for 2023, the city did receive a little bit under $10 million from various funding sources, which include the PIP, which is the Pro Housing Designation, the Local Housing Trust Fund, CDBG, Home, and then PLHA. I do want to point out that the Pro Housing Incentive Pilot Program, out of the 1.6 million, $500,000 is going to be designated to help first-time home buyers. So housing is working on hopefully creating a program and helping the community be able to purchase their first home. And then we did receive additional funds from the Encampment Resolution Program, which was a total of $8 million last year, which is going to be used for supportive services. We also have the Family Homeless Challenge Grant, which was $2.6 million, and that is for the acquisition and rehabilitation of single-family homes and ADUs. The city did partner with BACS and did purchase 817 Bautista, and then that is currently occupied. And then we also have the Salinas Emergency Motel Program, which received $8 million, and we're hoping to help service people that are currently experiencing homelessness and getting them into some shelter. And then we do have, our next slide would be neighborhood blight elimination, which focuses on code enforcement's effort in 2023. So as you can see, they had a total of 1,705 cases that were opened in 2023, and they were able to close 1,576 of those cases. They did have 3 properties that went into remediation in order to bring those into compliance. And then, as you can see, we do have some before and after pictures of properties in 2023. I do want to point out the accomplishments that the city in general has accomplished, especially since the release of the pre-approved ADUs. So we did have 205 permits approved in 2023. Of those, 197 permits were issued, and then 96 were finalized. And then just a couple of properties that were purchased, as previously mentioned, 817 Bautista, 1028 Larkin Circle, and 414 Crescent Way. And then 38 through 42 Soledad Street, which hopefully will get us into partnership with the developer to build more affordable housing. I do want to highlight the SORT team accomplishments for 2023, which they had serviced 359 individuals, which include single females, single males, and also families and children. And then they were able to refer 268 of those individuals to shelters, and were actually able to house 44. So the next steps for the Housing Element Annual Progress Report is taking it to consideration to the Planning Commission on March 6th, followed by City Council on March 19th, and then submitting it hopefully before April 1st to be in compliance with the state. So my recommendation is that the Housing and Land Use Committee support the approval of the City Council resolution approving the submission to the state.
Thank you for your presentation. We'll go out for questions of the committee. Councilmember Sandoval.
Yeah, do you know how much we have left in the family homeless grant?
I do not.
We receive $8 million, so probably about $8 million we still have left. This is going to be done. This is going to be to support the Montreal program for 3 years.
So all that fund will be already expended? We don't have any pending funds for them, from that grant? Is that what I understand? My question is, well, how much do we have left, and then, or is that money already kind of allocated?
Yeah, it has been allocated. Yes,
okay.
For the emergency motel program. So
okay. In the future, is it possible if we get that grant again to be used for like a multifamily tiny home village? Is that something that would qualify?
We would have to look at the activities. If that's an activity that is allowed, then we can explore some of those things. But yes, obviously we have to look at a project that is viable in order for us to allocate funds for a project like that.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Councilmember Osornio?
No questions.
Thank you. I have no questions on my end. I guess one question that I would have is the American Rescue Plan Affordable Housing Production Fund, that's not included in our housing element in terms of a discussion around the funding we have available? Or is that just not something that's required to be included in the housing element because it's not state
The allocation from ARPA that we receive for affordable housing, that has already been spent. So.
Oh, okay.
So there's.
It's all.
So.
And we were told that it could never be done.
At least on the housing production, okay? The housing production, that has already been spent, yeah.
Thank you. We'll go out for, sorry, that was probably.
It's exciting.
But we'll go out for public comment on this item. Seeing none in the council chambers, we'll go out to Zoom.
No comments via Zoom.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the committee for comments and direction. Councilmember Sandoval.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see all the work that's gone into this, and we're making progress. I really like the slide on what's coming, the pending projects. Often we don't know what's coming, so I appreciate that, and it gives us more hope that we're addressing the needs of our community. So I appreciate all of your work. Thank you.
Councilmember Osornio?
Yeah, my only comment was going to be, this slide looks great. It looks like we're getting a lot of stuff done, and we're spending the money that we've allocated to these certain projects, and that's great. I'm hoping that any grants that we get, obviously the last thing we want to do is give it back to the state. So I just want to say again, thank you for all of the hard work that your department is doing, Lisa. And it's great to see see all of the progress that's being done. So much work needs to be done. So just thank you for that. That was my only comment.
I also want to express my gratitude to all of you in community development for your hard work on this, to be able to secure grants, administer grants, and then see project management is not an easy thing to do. So thank you, all of you, for the work you're doing. I'm just really, really excited for the fact that this city really centers affordable housing as a core element of our view on housing needs in the city. And we're not just leaving it up to chance or up to developers, but rather seeking out that state funding to make sure that affordable housing is a priority in our city, which is critical to creating that social safety net in our city, while at the same time still allowing for other developments that qualify as market rate to go through. That way we're having an all the above approach to our housing portfolio, which is important. So very happy for this item, and I'll seek a motion at the time.
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilmember Osornio, seconded by Councilmember Sandoval. We'll call for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Sonio.
Yes.
Councilmember Sandoval.
Yes.
Chair Rocha.
Yes, it is adopted unanimously. Thank you so much. We'll move on to administrative reports. If there's none, that's okay. We'll go on to future agenda items. Does the committee have anything they'd like to place on the agenda?
Yeah, but as time moves forward, we can look into tiny home villages. I know that was a discussion for a long, long time. Councilmember Osorio and I had an opportunity to visit, was it the Community Health and Human Services display they had of tiny homes in, was that Seaside, Monterey? Monterey, and I think they also offer setup as far as the network of supportive services, and they had quoted some of $20,000 to $40,000, which I thought was really reasonable. They were nice units, so in the future, maybe we could have a presentation on that.
Thank you. And anything from you? All righty. So at this time, we'll consider this meeting adjourned.